everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. Today I'm going to show you how to turn a cut file into an embroidery design. This gorgeous page background was created using a cut file from Cricut Club. I just love that beautiful stitched background and I can't wait to show you how it comes together. Before we create the project, I want to talk to you about the cut files from Cricut Club. If you are a Cricut Club subscriber, you receive access to all of these great cut files at no additional cost. For those who are not subscribers, you can now purchase these separately. On this project, I'm going to be using the ornament tree. This design cuts out the negative portion of the ornaments to create a lovely background. Cricut files are available in SVG, PNG, DXF, and JPEG, which gives you the option to cut them out with a machine or print the design. Today, I'm going to show you how you can use these images with or without a cutting machine. I'm going to show you how to create this embroidery design using an SVG and a JPEG file. I'm going to start with a tutorial in Cricut Design Space. Then I'll show you how to create the template using a printed image. We're going to head into Cricut Design Space first. If you're not using a cutting machine, feel free to skip ahead to the printed portion of the video. I have already uploaded the ornament tree file, and I'm going to grab the design from my Uploads folder and add it to the canvas. I've added a larger red square here to make it easier for you to see what this design looks like. Before I make the changes needed to turn this image into a stitching design, I'm going to resize the cut file to 11 by 11 and change it to white. At this point, the ornament tree is a basic cut, which means that all the pieces are going to cut out from my cardstock. I want this design to draw onto my page so that I can use the drawn images as a template for stitching. This change turns the ornaments and square into drawn lines, so I have to remove that square. Then I can move my tree image over to the red square and make the changes to this so that it is an 11 by 11 white cardstock square. Before you send this to your machine, you need to attach the two together. Here's what the ornament tree looks like drawn on the back of the page. Before I sent this to my machine, I did mirror the design so that it drew the images on the back side of the cardstock. This prevents me from having to cover up those little pen dots with thread. To create my stitching marks, I'm just going to go around all of those little ornament images with a sewing needle. When I flip it over, you will be able to see the marks that I created. This is the front side of the page. All right. Now I want to show you how to do the same thing with a JPEG printable image. I am using a Windows device, but if you are familiar with your basic image editing software, you'll be able to repeat these steps. I have already opened that November cut file folder with all of the designs you receive in this collection. I'm going to look for the ornament tree file that is a JPEG file. To open this image, I'm just going to double click on it and it automatically opens my basic image editing app. I need to crop this down a little so that it fits on an 8.5 by 11 page. Once I've cropped that, I'm going to send this to the printer. I did need to make a few changes so that it fit my page and it printed out that lined design. So here is that printed page. I've just attached it in place using some temporary tape, and I'm going to add the stitching marks. You can do this with a piercing tool or a sewing needle. All right, there are two ways that you can use your Cricut cutting files to create a stitching template. Let's go ahead and start making the project. Here is how the background's going to look once you've added all your stitching marks. This space here is blank because my photo is going to sit right here and there's no need for me to add stitch designs. I used this colorful forest pattern to help me choose the embroidery thread colors. I also have some silver thread for the tops of the baubles to match the silver embellishments within the November kit. I'm going to add all my embroidery stitching off camera, then I'll show you the finished background element. Here's what the embroidery stitching looks like once it's been added. There are 2 ornaments missing here because it's going to be covered with a photo, and I just wanted to save myself a little time by not stitching them in. I love the silver thread at the top of the baubles. This is just a simple box with an X in the center. The ornaments were created with a backstitch using 2 strands of embroidery thread. All these colors combined together create such an elegant backdrop. My photo has already been layered on some cardstock and pattern paper. I backed the photo in craft texture cardstock and backed that with this pattern from the PL kit. I like using these cards behind my photos because the patterns are often much smaller. I cut 2 tags using the window gift tag die set. This set comes with a die to cut out these little toppers. I cut these with that craft texture cardstock to match the frame around the photo. I also added stitching to these tags to match the other stitched elements on the page. Behind the photo, I tucked those 2 tags, and now I want to choose a few chipboard pieces from the embellishment kit for my page. These have silver accents on them, which match the baubles on the tree. I like this colorful "Santa is Coming" title. This matches my tree colors and will fit at the top of the page here. I also like this sentiment and how it's going to fit well below the photo. Before I adhere these down, I do want to create a bold frame around my photo because I feel like it needs a little separation from the tree. I'm going to bring in some florals from the sticker book, which will add some natural elements to the page. These also bring in more red hues that match my photo. This photo was taken at our yearly Awana missions training. We have one missionary friend that is a baker and acts as one of Santa's helpers during the Christmas season. On our last day of training, he brought in some of his famous baked goods and Buckeyes and greeted us as Santa. Our friend here is known as Santa Doughboy, so if you want to look him up online, you can do that. As I finish up with these silver accents, I would love it if you tap that subscribe button and let me know that you're new here. If you're already a subscriber, let me know that you enjoyed today's tutorial by tapping the thumbs up icon or leaving me a comment below. I would love to know if you're going to try to add some embroidery to your next project using a cut file design. At this point, I feel like that top right corner is needing something, and my title isn't in the right place. It feels really disconnected from my other elements. I also didn't leave myself enough room for journaling, so I'm going to make a few changes real quick off camera. I decided to move everything upwards, which is going to give me room to move the title below the photo. This connects it to the other elements. For my journaling, I'm going to bring in a vertical card from the PL kit. I'll add a few more elements around it once I've typed up the story. Now that the weight has been placed around the photo, I can add this dimensional sticker on the right. This matches the other florals on the page and creates a nice visual triangle. I'm going to head off camera to type up my journaling and adhere all these pieces in place. Then I'll come back and show you the finished page. I'm so glad I moved that photo up. The page is balanced, the photo is framed well, I had room for journaling, and the gorgeous tree makes an amazing backdrop. Adding this element up here leads the eye across the page. I added some silver leaves behind this to dress it up, and I brought in a heart that matches the wood button I added. Up here I have another silver element in the form of a tab and some twine bows. Let's take a look at all the awesome details of this layout. Today, I shared 2 ways that you can use a HipKit cut file to create an embroidered design for your scrapbook page. This page did take a little bit of time to create, but it turned out absolutely amazing. That ornament tree that I created with the cut file makes a lovely statement piece, and the floral embellishments and tags make that photo the focal point of the page. I love all the touches of silver in the chipboard pieces, puffy stickers, twine, and thread. These create a wonderful holiday theme and elevate the page to the next level. If you're one who likes to pin photos to inspiration boards, I've added still shots of this page in the HipKit Facebook group and on my website for you to use. I want to thank you for joining me for another scrapbook project. If you would like to see more of my creations, you can visit my channel or follow Miss Carrie's Creations online. If you have any questions about the project or supplies listed below, feel free to leave me a comment. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.